Bateman, and this is Love Can Breathe in Silence in Pook Castle, Rathmichael, Dublin. This poem is called Systematic Beauty. Subject to availability. I am better than you. I smell better. I can make you homeless. Excuse me. I am drunk. I did not mean to say that. You are poor. It is so amazing to have the lower classes do things for me. I am an interior designer. I design who I speak to and how I act. What makes me comfortable to speak. Buy me clothes. Make me rich. I never want to breathe. The system is designed to make you fat and give you cancer. Fast your body of these foods. I do not love to breathe. This poem is called If You Can Free Your Heart. We look up upon them. We look upon them with pity. Look at them. They are poor and dumb. And they are from a poor area. I hate my life, your life. I hate your dreams. They will eat your flesh. Your designed madness. But we will repair your soul. I forgot that I can breathe. You shall dream before then. Thank you. And I give you Fiona Smith.
The Kids on the Dock. Gleaming blockades, bankers parade blistering streets in a daze. But ahead of the usual refreshments I crave, a dip in a dirty river. By some strange turn, the city's on heat. The ants in our pants stamp at a rain dance, missing the ordinary patterns of relief. The kids on the dock drop a wetsuit in my hand. Go for it, missus. You can. Dive right in. Shook off my heels, the grey office shift, encase myself like a rubber seal, shuffle to the drift, listen. Glistening ripples promise to chill me, release me, lap me up, kiss me. Mind me stuff, I'm going in. 1, 2, 3, pinch, hoverfly, then in the drink. I plunge under, close mouth, don't think, rat piss. Kick, gasp, me breathing hard. I burst the surface, spit, blood rush bubbling in my ears. Silence surrounding, then whoops and cheers. Thank you. This poem is called Donut Boom. It's about that strange little shop called St. Kevin's Mart on Kevin Street, where you can get all sorts of crazy stuff. The Mart of St. Kevin. Stood outside your shutters. I knew it was meant to be. That night you talked a drunk down from a fight. Passing flights of fancy. Pop-ups they shut down. And we got plastered all over town. Bars past their use-by date held together with sticky tape. This is what our shelves are stocked with. Litter in the trough. Gutter Grove Dub directs a double-decker tour. Forward by Narcissus, a riot of confusion and Viking trash, a painted-over mural. Life is hard at running jokes. Asked out for craft beers and a free burrito on your loyalty card. Put your own stamp on it, babe. Quirky choices on tip jars, t-shirts too clever for you. Designist attitudes replace the Moors of old. Crushed like sweaty little cupcakes, no Oreo topping can make up for the passing of souls. Double the danger on Anger, master your fate and radiate. Co-opt the pedestal of pigeon-toed statues. Strike up an air guitar with Philo there and choose your new tattoo. Get a trifle sponge free with your toffee fee. Bulk bite tato with your rooster potatoes. Refills for your jar, all gravy. Kept in the fridge with shampoos, and the cup of soup, is that so crazy? Best before 2004. Donut boom. A lover's lament for a late dive bar. Gin savers and dark favours. And a waltz. Walking with a drinking man who shows you a fading snapshot of his L1 in her 1940s prime. Nearer to thee, packs of sushi on the bus shelter. Donut boom. Chopsticks intact, traffic fumes. Parmesan fries so fine, choking on it pigeons. The Ballad of St. Kevin's Mart. Smart arse outside your shutters. I knew that I would take you home when I heard you talk some clown down. Flights passing silently over. Diamonds in the gutter. Portals to the new world. Shut-up shops become our newest ghosts. This is what your shelves are stocked with. Poets past their sell-by date, held together with sticky tape. This is what your streets are paved with. Life is hard at running jokes. I become another ghost.
And I give you Joanne McLaughlin.
This one's called The Son of God. Gliding Utopia's highway through space emerald dancing, along the fringe of enduring forest the leaves drip gold. Hawthorn thrives against a neon blaze, a disc dissolves burning, and wafting lowly on the snaky air, the grey of charcoal smoke traces ley lines in the grass. Stalked by selfie snappers, deer go where they want, and bulging blooms smile at the sky, around them lovers lie. Slicing the blue, the oblique, testament to people perched, and mountaineering children, obscure Wellington's wars. Boys from the gardens ride to Rome, on Caesar's chariots, bare-chested, sunburned lords. The ice cream man is flat out pulling cones, the traffic is flowing. Bicycle spokes turn speed to sparkle. Everyone is up the park on days like this when the sun is God. This next one called Fountains in the Rain. Dawn flyer lands, dreamwalker walks in the warm greys of a watery day. At the circumference of a grand pond, ducks dodge the dregs of confection, and speedy sparrows dart about, castrated gauze and handless lords and noses queens, and the finest buttocks ever seen. Golden hieroglyphics in the place of revolution, Ramesses II reigns. Under the glass pyramid people snap, painted pictures and artefacts, admiring great civilizations, ignoring how they're made. Fountains in the rain are particularly beautiful. And this is the last one. Spring on Cowper Street. Smashed glass catches the sun and twinkles. The boy on the monkey bike rips around, speedy. Everything else slow. Helicopter low. The parting sun a kind of spotlight on a girl between streets. Blonde hair held high by a big blue bow. Under her runner a balloon, pinned to the ground as if by the neck. Rolling it over the concrete, this is trapped air. She pauses for the passer-by, head down playing, then boom. Bouncing off brick, pressure released, runs up the walls for the sky, into the atmosphere, free. Quiet again, before a chuckle becomes a laugh, amplified. Thank you.
And I give you Jasmina Susic. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Jasmina Susic. First, I'm going to read a poem from my first book called An Ode to California. It's in Croatian because I was invited to read one of my poems in my native language. You won't understand me now, but that's okay. Oda Kaliforniji. Puna si ugašenih opušaka, znojnih ptica i neurotičnih lutalica, ti velika majko Kalifornijo, muzo neprežaljena. Prazna si šuplja kao akord na kraju neke otužne himne, Sanjala sam ocean i neku bolju Kerouakovu Ameriku. U zagrljaju pejotla, viskija i meksičkih kurvi sanjala sam te, o Kalifornijo, u neko drugo vrijeme. Zakorači ponovno, neka tvoja bedra uspale maštu boemsku. Zalutaj među nas, Kalifornija, opjevat ćemo sve ulice tvoje, o velika majko. Tvoje asfaltne grudi i neonska bedra talasaju se u mračnoj noći duše. Sve se raspada pod nogama tvojih, majko. Zašto si sve svoje ljubavnike u smrt otjerala? Zašto si raširila krilo nekim novim sanjarima? Onima koji te jedu iznutra. Onima koji pohlepno žvaču tvoju utrobu u potrazi za zelenim totemima. Gdje su sada tvoje autoceste u ekstazi i nebo boje peperminta? Mirišali smo na grijeh, odavajući se tvom posljednjem bolesničkom pomazanju u blatnim vodama Venisa. Klanjali smo se kralju guštera kao besprijekorna, grozničava, krhka, bitnička djeca. Kao divlji, poluludi aveti koračali smo ulicama u čađavim kaputima masnih, usijanih glava, iščekivali prosvjetljenje, znak, pad tako tragično nesretnih bogova. Jesi li čula, majko, psovku upućenu nabildanom guverneru, razrokim gutačima vatre i objesnim plavokosim glavama? Velika majko, kamo tvoja djeca odlaze utapajući se u posljednjim skromnim fantazijama ispod palmi Sunset Boulevara. Thank you. So, back to English. I'm going to read you a short poem, the one I just wrote recently, and it's a sad one. I am heavy as this water holding us against the night. Your fingers still haven't tasted enough skin under them to know how to differentiate love from lust. I'm sorry for not holding space for all your fears. I am so full of mind, there is barely any courage left, and it's heavy, heavy as the water holding us against the night. Thank you. And the third one, the last one. This one is long and awkward. So, it's all about accepting our need for love and despair. You only belong to yourself and you were given a map. The road could be slippy, the houses could be wet, kitchen counters could be broken, kettles could be exploding. But you still only belong to yourself and you really need to go deeper into your own despair. I am the flood, the deep water, afraid of her hips and too loose in her arms. I am the flood. I am that mad flow of consciousness, that insane lunar water exploding in you. I'm so good at keeping people at distance. I'm so fucking good at keeping people at a distance. I draw that cold, almost freezing line, and I withdraw, retreat, and shrink like deep, insane waters inspired by the moon and ready for retreat. My desperation knows no limits. Somehow, I don't even care anymore. I thought I want something boring and old, romantic to the point of ridiculousness. But then I've changed my mind. I guess it's time to reinvent the attitudes and opinions about free love. I need love the most in County Wicklow when I'm going to watch the stars in the night. Zero light pollution, full potential. I am seeking my own depths to be drowned in, and you know what? My body is not your playground. Thank you.
And I give you Sophie Molloy.
Persephone, a girl's rejection
Can
of
you go over
glamour.
there? There's no light.
Hey.
Sorry.
Need to go?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Persephone, a girl's rejection of glamour. A crystal lake beneath a silver tree is the palace of winter's finery. The pleasure of her feet on the powdered snow as any mortals on the sand of the ocean shore. No one outside of any one could ever know the comfort of that deep, enduring cold, where beauty steps and takes the breath of all who cannot see her soul. Lost is her familiar place. She knows best the paths without a trace, and keeps warmth about as far away as the fire of the stars in the countless space. But it was not always thus. Once she dwelt in the tumultuous green that ever grows, and the laughing cries and the heady scent of the tangled rose, until the eve when she had thrown a veil upon the golden sun, and so finely woven was it spun, this vast and seamless gauze, that her sisters, who once had been the oblivion of nature and only knew the wild around, had now become the centre, and in the glare of their renown they pull those shrouds of vapour down, and wear that cold miasmus gown, begotten by their sister. What was it in the child of spring that had left want in the field of the fairy ring, and had something even more than need for a glass lake and a silver tree? Because it's raining, I'm going to read one about rain. So, that it might rain. Some days soar and others fall. It's the latter I recall. Those threads of glass that reach for miles, the length of longing to the sky. Greys are deeper, greens are darker, wild roses light the shaded arbor, while white and silver strings of water play adagios in unknown minors, to spin the song that drowns the sound and builds that cage of glass around, to free the soul. There stands our shadow in the pores, who had got lost in the long wild rain and swore to never return again. For some days fall and others soar, what some love less, one might adore. Okay, camera's so close.
It is?
I have one more, but go back.
Okay.
Okay, I have one more poem. Fugitive to man, a ship alone. You are never alone, they say. Just you and your companion, the great unknown, keeper of the stars, who wills time or not to spin or stop. An enduring love, an abiding love. Yet I would forsake a place in heaven, should there be a heaven, to waltz a mindless waltz amidst the damned and heathen, if a beating heart would take my hand amongst them. Ah, the romance of loneliness, the whitest canvas sail, yet as ocean gathers ocean, calm will gather gale, and the humble boat whose boards you tread, like a cracking voice will moan. Although you dreamt of loneliness, you shall never sail alone. A cavernous vessel grows around, and a ghostly crew therein, whose voices, quiet as your thoughts, are happy to have found, upon the acres of the depths, another speaker without sound. Yet 1,000 years before, triumphantly you spoke. What tyrants are the passions of the heart? It is time to cut the rope. Each the seas of populace and of solitude one must navigate with skill, so as the company of a God alone we may keep at our own will. For even the company of mortal men, without their dedication, are at the very least a curious and vicarious relation. And loneliness, if tempered well, my God, it is so beautiful. Thank you.
And I give you Vev Kemp.
Yeah, that's it. Hi. Very close. Yeah, I'm going to read a called The Escape Artist at Rest. Finally, the slack comes and my belly swells profound. Once, that great weight was spread out into each blood cell, dwelled under every flake of skin, stayed solid, and all the protein bit by anxious teeth, or fretted with scalping hands. How the mix of me, panic, self-love, self-hate, a hoary compassion, pumped in a syncopation 3 times my heartbeat, and seemingly 400 my breathing. Now, sat on this slab, I look up at who'll ever hear me. My constriction pulls taut my withered hunchback. You can see the whole structure of my top half. Spine like piano foot keys, neck and head sloped cowly, colour bone so bared it could break. I always thirst. Keep my mouth wet, and I will tell you my tale. Please. This is another poem. It's written in the last few days. I'm kind of inspired by this event. So there's some little things, like, say, references to Puck's Castle, in terms of, say, like James II apparently hiding out here in 1690 after the Battle of the Boyne. But for some reason I took all that in and wrote mainly about magpies. This is called The Magpie's Plenty. You have surely noticed them. Out on the suspended ink spill of connecting wire, their clockwork bodies grip, alone or in pairs, the blast of voices, colours and murders as they light up the squares of glass. Later, silence gives breath to the AR rattle of their clucks, a song to not battle sparrows, but to the amateur mechanic retrofitting an 80s VW V8 garaged out back. Its fuel-injected organ pipes produce a shudder that causes me to close the window, but I still look out for the robot bounce of that bird by its partner, the two a unit of joy, decked out like orca robbers. I wonder how much they take is intangible. With key-like feet scraping the main line, do they sing the ghost of stories? Do they snag the ghost of stories? A faint glow of the woman not saved, lost monarchs and fire swallowing the hill, and place it among the nook of tchotchkes, cut into moss stone, of old houses where people went to disappear. Would a magpie, in spirited automaton, ever recognize its hoard to be plenty? And for my last poem, I want to thank Kevin so much for inviting us, all of us, and me, to this event, which has been pretty great. Beautiful location, hopefully, that's been picked up in the Periscope stream. Right, so this is called The Poor Sporters of a Missing Brother, and I'm going to just quote a little epitaph at the start that kind of sums up the story, or what this kind of poem's about. In the second play of the Eurystheia, Agamemnon and Clytemnestra's two surviving children, Orestes and Electra, are reunited as adults after a long separation, and then scheme to murder their mother and her lover. In a scene that came to embarrass later dramatists, Electra is persuaded that her brother has returned as she discovers a footprint and lock of hair at their father's tomb, which, she concludes, must belong to her long-lost brother, because the footprint is the same size as hers, and the hair is similar. So the poem begins. At graveside, at monument, to an old pur of sovereign, my father, I see traces of a link they tell me is fate. 1 foot placed next to this disturbed earth by a grave, a hole dug from shifting feet, is a match to myself. Gaps mirror solids, 2 faces make a vase, but I've always known the 2 fuse to a shared occasion. The ghost is flesh. I handled the dirt cake of hair and pressed it to my cheek like a telephone dialing, as warm as a heart and beaten by footfalls. It was my brother. When home, this clod shall be housed in a box the queen would leave locked. My life is pre-clockwork, but I will leave this bedside to keep time, and, in mornings, shepherd, no, smother its gold corners to my chest till it punctures. There are so many spectres, I will live as one mingled with more permanent things, and grip the incumbent change I know is constant, like that lost boy I love. Thank you very much.
And that's everything. Do you want us all stand there in a line?
Sure.
We've no one to record this because Fiona's mate didn't come over the wall of the gate. So we're going to try and sadly stick ourselves.
Do you have a timer you can set up?
I've never actually had anyone not film us.
Oh, okay.
This is the first time it's ever happened. It's not filming to me, is it? Yeah? Good.
Yeah, it is filming you.
Good. Hello, my name is Kevin Bateman, and this is Love Can Breathe in Silence in Pook Castle, Rathmichael, Dublin. And I want you all to bow. Is that okay?
On a count of 3.
Sophie Molloy, Jasmina Susic,
Sure, shit, but thank you.
Fiona Smith, VM Kemp, Joanne McLaughlin. Thank you all very much.